it's interesting you bring up GT7 because I did want to talk about there was a little bit of controversy that went down or that is going down with GT7, and that is there's two things that went down with Gran Turismo 7. One of those things was that the reviewers that got to review the game didn't get to review the game with the DLC in there, right? It was the game straight up. There was no DLC whatsoever, and none of the reviews made comment on it because it's not in the game. You review the game that you have, not the game that will be, or, you know, you have to review what is. And after all the reviews came out, and I believe the day the game dropped is when they added DLC to it, right? Now, there's another bit of stuff with the pricing of the DLC, but it's very curious that Sony was like, hey, reviewers here, play this game, and then as soon as the fans are able to get to it and actually start to spend money in this and that inside the game, they're like, well, here's some DLC to do that, right? You can go ahead and buy all this stuff, right? Which is bad because that'll obviously reflect the reviews, right? If there's anything that's egregious inside the game that affects gameplay or in any way, shape, or form, they're gonna note it either positively or negatively, right? I mean, that's just kind of how that goes, right? You know, if you need to spend money to actually win at this game, that'll be reflected inside of a review, right? That's like with the mobile free-to-play games that are like pay to win or whatever. Not to say that, you know, GT7 is pay to win or anything like that, but I mean, it does affect things, and that would be noted. The other thing is the egregious price of the DLC content. It's not really DLC content, it's microtransactions, right? Because it's like individual cars that you can buy, right? So to kind of put things in perspective, when you look at the last game, Gran Turismo Sport, right? Cars were individually priced between 99 cents and $4.99, right? Between $1 and $5. And you can pay money and you get the car and that's it, right? So they bring up in this article a Porsche 919 Hybrid 16 can be bought for $3 in Gran Turismo Sport, right? You would have to spend at least $40, right? Because of the way the credit system works, right? It costs 3 million credits to get this Porsche 919. You can only buy credits in increments of 100K, 250K, 750K, or 2 million credits for $20. Now, this is an item that costs 3 million credits, so you have to spend $20 two times over to get the 3 million credits to buy this, and then you have 1 million credits sitting around. So if you just wanted this one car, you have to spend extra, and now you have extra credits, which they'll probably, you know, entice you to buy another car, which would require even more credits than you have, and that's a whole thing. So their pricing structure way out of whack. You should just be able to have a one-to-one, buy this car for this price, and this is what it is, and the car prices should be reasonable, right? I know, you know, the 919 is like top. I mean, 919 is probably up there with the GT40 and all the other McLarens and whatever else, you know, the S-rank cars or the X-rank cars or whatever, if you want to talk about Forza. So that's crazy. That's crazy. And to be fair, because I know Dan thinks I'm a PlayStation hater. There was some controversy with Forza. I think Forza Motorsport 5. When that came out, that was a launch title for Xbox. They had a couple of problems. One, the game footage that they showed off wasn't the same quality as the actual like end game footage. So they kind of, you know, they had it running on better hardware and this and that. Oh, here's what the game is. And it was running on a much more powerful PC than the actual Xbox One hardware. So it was a little bit of a downgrade. It still looked pretty beautiful, but it was like a bit of a downgrade there. It's a little bit of a bait and switch. Not so great. The other thing is that when you paid for DLC, you didn't actually get the cars. You got the ability to grind out and get credits in game to get them, right? So there'd be like, here's like like a Gran touring pack or whatever, right? Maybe there's like, a couple Audis in there, maybe some Nissans or whatever, right? They just put them in the game, but you still have to grind it out. Right. So that's kind of like, if you're going to pay real world money, you should get a thing for it. Right. I mean, say what you want about game balance and mechanics and whatever, pay to win. But if someone's going to pay money, give me something for it, either digitally or physically. Right. Don't give me the opportunity to grind it out. Like, I'm just not about it. Not about it. So, yeah, okay. I just wanted to bring that up as a point. But
okay, so I will say this: if you want me, it doesn't affect me whatsoever. The Forza 5 Motorsport didn't affect me whatsoever. The Halo Infinite microtransactions didn't affect me whatsoever because I don't buy it at all. But I will say this: but show with your pocket. Show with your pocket. Don't buy it if that's the only way they'll change it. I mean, there's no other way that they'll change it. There's no other way to change it. If you don't buy it,
the way I get what you're saying, but the real way to change it through.
We did it with Star Wars. Right? Like we protested Star Wars. We didn't buy it until they changed.
Well, yeah, but that's the only that's the only game that's the only example of a company that kowtowed in that way. Honestly, I mean, Halo did a little bit. They like got pushed back from the fans a little bit, but it's still not great. And things are still way overpriced, and they nickel and dime you for color themes that were free before. So it's still a bad situation. It's just less bad. Honestly, the way to do it is through legislation, right? If you make it illegal and actually say that it's predatory to kind of do all these things online, it'll prevent companies from doing it because they'll either have to pull it out of the game or pay a huge fine and all that. And
well, see, here's the issue with that. Okay, chicken or the egg. Unless people start going in an uproar saying it is egregious and there should be legislation, politicians don't care. They're not going to do it unless their constituents care, and we don't care because we keep buying it. Well,
I mean, we're going to keep buying it regardless because that's just how psychology works, Like, you can say I'm never gonna buy DLC. I know you've bought some stuff at least at some point in time.
Listen. I don't have an issue with DLC or buying things because Devil May Cry 5, right? The orbs. I said, you know what? I wouldn't have a problem buying the orbs, so I don't have the time to grind it out. I'm not in high school or grade school anymore, where I had all the time in the world because I had no responsibilities other than homework.
Right.
So I was okay with that. I'm actually okay. The pricing structure is terrible. I did say that when we talked about it. On the pre-show, I said the pricing structure is atrocious, but if you don't want to grind it out and you can buy stuff to just have it, they should have put to the lawn, right? Which is a bad look. It's a terrible look because it looks like you're just dodging, the review scores because you don't want it to bring the review scores down. All right, because you want to hit a certain score. Metacritic, which
that's exactly right. So they know it's bad. IGN, they know it's not great.
Yeah, okay. IGN, GameStop, a lot of other major outlets have implemented, updated review scores, so they can go back and change the review scores of that. But at least wait a couple of months.
I mean, you've already gotten past the biggest game sale day, which is day one, right?
Yeah.
Your first day is your best day, and your first week is your best week, always with every kind of media. So you have all those sales that are people who bought the game.
It's half about the sales and half about the bonuses, because a lot of incentive-based contracts for developers are if you hit this Metacritic score, right, everyone gets a certain amount.
Well, that too, right? Yeah, too. You shouldn't have that be compensatory based on, it should be compensatory compensatory based on the amount of work you put in, right? If you blood, sweat, and tears put all your heart into this game, if it fails, that's not necessarily your fault, because you're working a team, right? It's a team effort.
You got to put everybody in a team has to put in quality work.
Well, sure, but I mean, if you put in quality work and everybody else doesn't, you get dinged for it, even though you put in the extra hours and the extra time.
It's something
that kind of
something to get. It's something to get everybody into putting the best foot forward to put in quality. I mean, it's like in basketball. I was actually watching something on YouTube about Gilbert Arenas. He hates incentive-based contracts. For in basketball for the lesser players, right? Some of the lesser players, because they're never going to get a chance to get that carrot.
Right. They don't have the skill, but they're gonna get the best they can out of them.
No. It's not about the skill. It's about they're not going to get the time. So like if you're like a bench player and they say, hey, if you hit a certain shooting percentage, we'll give you $3 million. Right. And then you're in a losing team, and the team wants to kind of lose, get a better draft pick. They're going to bench you.
Well, that too.
Before you even, and you're not going to get a chance to hit that shooting percentage.
Or even if you're on a good team and you're one of the lesser players, they're not going to, they're going to bring out the king. They're going to bring out LeBron James. They're going to bring out
but you're probably not going to get like an incentive. You're probably not going to get an incentive based thing in your contract if you're playing with like LeBron James or something like that. But
I see. I see.
Somebody that's like a mid-tier player, not like a superstar, they'll get like, hey, if you hit 20 points or we win a certain amount of games, we'll give you an added bonus, right? And that is to incentivize you to win, right? Come on, extra oomph, pep in your step because you want.
Well, I mean, sure, but isn't I mean, like you that's your job, right? You're a basketball player. Your coach is your boss. You have to perform, right? You don't perform, you're off the team, right? There's no way about it.
But like if you've ever done anything competitively, right? Like you're performing, but are you giving the extra gear to win? Are you giving that extra gear, that extra motivation to go out there and you know what?
Yeah.
I'm tired. I'm beat up. I need that extra motivation. That $3 million is a lot of money.
It is.
I'm gonna go block this shot, even though I don't have the energy to jump.
Fair enough. Yeah. Fair enough.
I get why they put it in, right? But some of those could be egregious. That's all.
Oh sure. Sure.
So listen, I don't care about microtransactions.
Oh, I know.
The only way it will change is if people make it change. Okay, if people keep buying it, it's hard unless something really bad happens. Politicians aren't going to regulate it.
Oh, I don't know.
And we're actually going to talk about that later in the show.
Okay.
So with that said, why don't we take a break, come back, and we get into the top gaming news of last week.